crowd goes wild.
Oh my gosh. I'm like a one of those ravens. Is it a raven? No, a falcon. Like I was asleep until I hear that audience noise. Like the hood was pulled off my head and now I'm awake. Like that just jolted me.
That's
alive.
amazing. That's amazing. A splash of cold water.
Yeah, or that. one of those two things.
A splash of cold brew against your face.
Yeah.
Just waking you up, folks.
Right in the eyes.
How's it going? I am going to introduce your co-host today. He puts the end in end zone. It is Sandeep Pari.
And following right up to that, he puts the end in tight end. It's our host, Omar Najam.
My goodness.
Terrible. I'm fired.
In the notes, we always put banter. I feel like that covered it. I feel like that
we don't need to banter about that.
I feel like us both being the individuals who put the end in two different terms. It's really what people come to the show for. Hello, everyone. This is ABCD, American-born Chatty Desis. This is a podcast within a live stream within our lives as two American-born Desis. It's a podduckin. This is for anyone out there who, like us, is navigating your cultural identities, plural, and you just want to chat about it.
Yeah, and what we got on tap for you today. All right, so this is a special episode because we're not doing the normal chakra check-in and the blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's going to happen, but it's all going to happen within the context of an interview with a lovely, lovely gentleman, but that goes by the name of Johnny Stanton the Fourth, and that fourth is going to become, that's very important that you know that, and you will see why. Soon. He is merging the worlds of D&D and professional athletes. He's a former and hopefully current NFL player. He's still out there making it happen, but he was with the Cleveland Browns not too long ago, and he's a free agent right now, getting back into it, but also pursuing his passions for D&D, and he's an unbelievable DM. So we had him on this week since it's the beginning of the football season.
It is. Right? It's football season, baby. The leaves are changing. Yeah. Sunday's back. Monday's back. All the football days are back. Right. Saturday's back if you're into college football.
Thursday's
back.
Where are those days gone all this time?
Friday, you had enough of a rain. You're done. We're pulling you back.
I love your finger wag. It's very professionally desi. For those that can't see what's happening
here. It's the finger wag and then the pointing with your middle finger. That's when you know you've really made it as an older desi man.
Oh, man, I never put that together. The pointing of the middle finger. Oh, that's great. Then we'll pick a desi of the week.
Yes.
Which is going to be a special one as well.
We have a really, really special one. We're very excited.
That's my part.
I'm so excited for all of you to enjoy this interview because Johnny Stanton the Fourth is so inspiring. But also, speaking of inspiring folks, we got to thank our sponsors who inspire us to continue to have the show going. The first sponsor, of course, is DesiQuest. That's right. It's an actual play TTRPG set in a South Asian mythology-inspired universe built by star GM Jasmine That Bronze Girl Buller, with a stellar cast including Critical Role darling Anjali Bhamani, Dimension 20 darling Rekha Shankar, and two more darlings. It's you and me, Sandeep.
Ooh. Oh,
that's the table.
Oh, we're the darlings. Oh man, we're getting close. We're getting so close. We just announced that DesiQuest has its own Patreon, so you can jump on there and support DesiQuest directly, and we're putting a lot of cool stuff there. We're really diving deep into the process, and what we're doing with the DesiQuest podcast, the Patreon, is to support a podcast that is going to be specific to DesiQuest and specific to the after shows. So haven't you been there? Like this is every time I play a game with like an amazing DM like a Jasmine Buller, I'm always like, what else could have happened? Like what else were you planning for? I know we just completely kiboshed like all your ideas. Like, can you spill the beans on like what happened if we had gone if we had gone into town and done it? Because they planned that stuff. So that's the stuff we're hopefully going to talk about. It's like what else was in Jasmine's brain. And we'll give you all the on-set shenanigans. There was drama. Okay, capital D drama. I mean, marriages, divorces. Like it was intense.
It's a lot.
So we'll talk about that stuff. So if you want to support the Patreon for DesiQuest, please do that. You can go to patreon.com/DesiQuest and jump in to that now. Speaking of Patreon, should we just go right to our second? So
Let's
we
do it.
also, because we don't want to be studio run people at all. We see what's happening in the industry with all these strikes. The studios, they're not nice people.
No.
They're not good people. You're the good people. And so our second sponsor is, of course, you and our Patreon supporters here at EffinFunny. Thank you. So if you want to join this illustrious list of do-gooders who support this entire team, we have a whole team here, okay? There's a Delvin, who's our technical director. He's amazing. There's a Kaylin, who's producing the show with us now. There's an Anand Shah. There's a lot of folks that are putting their time and energy into this. Support us all. Support our endeavors here by going over to patreon.com/EffinFunny, EFFIN funny. And you can help us out. Help out a couple Desis in the creative arts, huh?
Yeah. And at the end of this episode, we're going to shout out the folks who support us, and we're going to do it in a way that's decided by chat. It's not up to us.
That's
so
right.
we're gonna find out. The last couple ones have been
if-
songs, and we decided to sing 3 names at a time, not 4. Not in the traditional Western way of filling a measure with.
4? Should we just say we're gonna do 4 each so that we
No.
should we make that no?
No,
Okay,
let's just see what happens.
let's sabotage ourselves. Excellent.
All right, so should we get to it? Should we hop into our interview?
I think that we you know what? Okay,
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, now I'm hesitant. Now I'm thinking no,
I
because you
thought
got me
maybe
worried.
I thought I had something else to say, and I'm like, you know what? My brain didn't catch up to it. We did our sponsors. We did the show intro. Everybody knows what this is about. We're live right now.
We're live right now.
But we are going to jump into a pre-recorded interview because, Johnny's a busy guy. Johnny's a busy guy, okay?
Yep.
So he couldn't make it live today, but he gave us a great interview on Friday. Here it is right now. Johnny Stanton the Fourth. Time, ladies and gentlemen. It's Johnny Stanton.
That's right.
Hello. Oh my God.
Oh, all these people are clapping for me in the invisible audience. Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, they are all invisible people. They've all been cursed.
And they're all just hanging out in Sandeep's living room.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, they won't go to Omar's. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, well,
What do you think that?
Not as spacious.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I'm in an attic right now, so I don't know how spacious this is. It's fine.
I like
Johnny,
that the curse is just that they're invisible, not that they're trapped.
They want to be there.
They're free to go anywhere. They chose to be in my
They
attic.
chose your attic.
Yeah. Johnny, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but here's your bio. Johnny, you're a professional football player. You were a fullback.
Arguable, but okay.
Arguable. Okay, fair enough.
I'm unemployed right now, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You were a fullback for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. Is that right?
Oh my gosh, that's close. I was a quarterback for UNLV. I played a little bit of linebacker, but that was it.
We got the back part right.
Yeah.
That's right.
There are a couple. You could be cornerback, and could be on defense, but linebacker has back in as well. There's a lot of backs in
There's
football.
a lot of backs. There really are.
It's
a
a
lot.
new slogan,
It's
if I'm not mistaken.
The NFL 2023. There's a lot of backs.
A lot of backs. So you're currently a free agent. So that part we got right.
Yeah.
Yep. You are a self-proclaimed D&D nerd. I think you are a proclaimed D&D nerd, frankly.
The public proclaimed as well.
Have I proven myself yet?
I think just beyond self.
I got my stamp card last week.
Oh, you got one?
It's in my wallet now.
I still don't have one.
Yeah.
Your online series, Athletics Check, teaches sports and football folks, nerds, all of them, tabletop role-playing.
Yep.
You teach all that to jocks, basically. You're teaching nerdy tabletopness joy to jocks. That's the idea.
and the other way around. I'm teaching football joy to nerds.
Really?
I'm trying to. It seems like people are enjoying it.
I love that. And
There you go.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, possibly the most famous one. I mean, I'm surprised you knew what a fullback was before quarterback, but yeah, good job.
It's weird. I've only known what fullbacks and halfbacks are.
He's
I've
working
never heard
his
of this.
way
What
through
is
the
this?
SIU.
Quarter?
You're going
more and more
from the
minute.
full to half.
Yeah.
I'm just like a
Just wait till you find out about the eighth back.
I'm what?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a position I could play. That seems small enough for me. Yeah, I'm just a huge James Devlin fan. That's the only football player right now. All right, so Johnny, we're gonna jump into our interview format. Okay, this is the ABCD podcast. We mostly have South Asians on here, and so congratulations, you're an honorary South Asian. So
I've always wanted that. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome.
Get some spice in my life because it's way too bland.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, Sandeep's living room.
They're into it. They're into it. So we often ask our guests this, and so I'm excited to ask you this question. What does your name mean?
Yep.
Because us Indian folks, we have really interesting name meanings. What is this Johnny?
It's foreign. I know. It's So I think Johnny. Well, there's a lot of languages have like little or like loving. Spanish has ito or ita.
Right.
I think if you were to translate my name into Spanish, it'd be Juanito. So I think I'm little Johnny because I'm the fourth John Richard Stanton. That's why the IV is at the end of my name. So I always get the question, would I have the fifth? And I have no idea. I don't know if I'm going to have a boy. Hopefully I will. But that's what my name is. I'm the fourth. I'm named after my grandfather, who was the second, Junior. Mm-hmm. And through my life as a fourth, I learned the difference between a junior and a second. Do you guys know what it is?
No.
Wait, there's a difference between junior and
There's
second?
a difference. Yeah. So I like to think about it like
move situation,
family versus like a pope.
Okay.
So if you were
or
to
like a king
Sandeep,
or something.
Yeah, Omar, if you were to like name your son Omar, you'd be an Omar Junior. It could be Omar the second, like that's possible if they want them to go by that. Like every junior is a second.
Okay.
Well, not every,
Not
but
every second is a junior.
Not every second is a junior because if you think about it, like popes, Pope John Paul II,
he's not a junior.
He's not a junior, obviously. He adopted the name, but it kind of works the same way. Whereas, say Omar, your great grandfather was also Omar. Mm-hmm. Then you were to adopt his name as well. Then you'd be Omar the second.
No way.
Yeah. So then I guess if you were Omar the second from like a previous like 2 generations gap, and you had a son, he could be Omar Junior the third.
So what a great question we asked to you because you have like a lineage. Well, first of all, you're also teaching us nomenclature.
Yeah, and I could be totally wrong. Don't take my word for this.
It was confident enough that I'm going to just believe every word of it. Sorry,
Pope John Paul. He's like, it's just like,
I'm
am
updating Wikipedia. I'm updating Wikipedia. Source Johnny Stanton.
But like, what I love about that, like, you have like a Lord of the Rings answer. Like, it's not like, oh, my parents like decided this. That it was like, oh, what a beautiful flower.
I'm John of Stanton. Fourth in my name.
That's amazing. Your name is like is your it's like it's your history.
It's funny because I in high school you get the opportunity to like choose what number you want to be on the football team, and I was actually very lucky. I knew I wanted to be number 4 because that's what my dad was in high school football. He was actually more of a swimmer, and it actually worked on another way because he wanted to wear number 4, not only because for one reason. In swimming, the people in the 4th lane is usually the highest ranked person because they have the least amount of like wake. Right, it's the middle. You're supposed to have like the biggest advantage.
It's where Phelps was every time.
Yeah, and then you 5th, and then 3rd, and then 6th, kind of go out from there. But the main reason why he wanted to be number 4 was because my grandfather was a World War II pilot. He flew in the F-4U Corsair, and when he would ask his father, like, "Hey, when you were flying, like what number plane did you fly?" And it wasn't really like the only way that my grandfather knew how to answer it because he wouldn't fly the same plane over and over again was, we had 4 on it because it was an F-4U Corsair. So that's why he wore number 4. That's why I wore number 4 is to kind of carry on that tradition. It just so happened that everybody thought that I wore number 4 because I was the 4th. Right. So when I went on to go to, before UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, I went to University of Nebraska and 4 wasn't available. So I actually went with 5, and I went with 5 because Johnny 5 is alive.
That makes
also perfect sense.
Totally, both equally valid, both equally as reverent.
Yeah.
Did people have like Radio Shack banners and stuff when they were cheering you on as a Johnny number 5?
Nobody cheered me on when I was in Nebraska. I was a 4th string quarterback over there at best. So no, nobody was cheering me on, but that is when I started putting IV on the back of my jersey. Well, for one, in high school, they didn't have names at the back of my jersey. But when I wasn't able to have 4 as my number, I started putting IV on the back. And then I kind of just carried on that tradition. Actually, you know what? I think I'm trying to remember. I'd have to look at pictures from Nebraska, because the only time that I remember specifically wearing IV on the back of my jersey, now that I think about it, is that when I started with the Vikings. You know what? I'm blanking on it right now, because I remember being really proud.
The audience, the in-studio audience will find out, and they will post.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got this from Nebraska right here.
Bam.
So that's what that memory is from.
Like I said, there's a reason you can't see Delvin. It's because he's also invisible, and he's in my living room. So there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, but not cursed.
Not cursed, yeah.
That was
Really not cursed.
a weird coinkydink.
Yeah. He just decided to join. So super cool. So look, we often do this, what's called the chakra check-in. We check in with our. Are you familiar with the chakras?
I'm familiar with the idea of them. Yeah.
The energy centers that reside within the body. And you want to get those in line, in order to reach a sort of samadhi state, a meditative state of pure blissful awareness. Okay. Yeah, it's something to strive
I've never
for.
reached it, but I'm sure.
Hashtag goals. Yeah, for sure. So checking in with, because right now you're a free agent, right?
Yeah.
Checking in with your sort of chakras, your current alignment. How are you feeling about the new football season coming out? Where are you at with all that? Are you trying to get back into the game? Are you still trying out for teams? Like what chakra do you think is being affected the most here?
I only know a handful of them, and I don't want to. I don't want to show my whole ass by saying any of them.
I'll quickly go through them. There's the crown chakra, right,
okay.
which is the top of the head. This is your knowledge chakra.
Yes, I've heard of
it. There's the third eye. You've heard of that one. That's the famous one. Everybody knows the third eye. Okay. That's
we have images on the feedback on the feed.
Yeah. Boom. That's your like intuition, visualization, imagination.
Yeah.
The throat. You got one right here for communication. Okay. Expression, honesty. Then the heart chakra, which is love and acceptance and compassion. The solar plexus, which is like kind of the top of the gut. So we're like talking like self-esteem, ego, strength, power. Then there's sacral. Okay, so you're going down to the sacrum, and that's your sensuality, sexuality, pleasure, creativity, emotional center.
Never sure that one's in line, but yeah.
And then for real, right? It gets worse as you get older. And and then there's the root chakra, which is like kind of located in the taint. We call it the taint chakra here on the ABCD podcast.
Nice.
It's a classy podcast.
I was going to say a lot of reverence.
Yeah. It's your stability. It's your survival, safety, comfort.
Cool. Oh, man. I'd say top of the list, probably. Oh man, I forgot. Like this was the third eye. I think third eye is up there because I've really allowed myself to, since not being on a team. It's been a year now since I've been on a team. I've really allowed myself to really dive into my creative outlets. I've really discovered TTRPG and D&D as my creative outlet, and that's allowed myself to have a lot of growth. Trying a lot of different ways of doing that, but I think it's never been healthier for me. My root chakra is in a rough spot because I'm trying to figure out how I can, make money since being a free agent is tough. And that's, I think that you said survival and kind of that whole thing. Survival's at the top of my mind for sure. It's moving away from the chakra centric side of things. I'm in a obviously free agency is never an easy thing, especially when you've been out of the league for a full year. That's not most people's experience, or at least that's not most people's experience of being able to get back into the league. And that's what I'm trying to beat the odds to do. So I've shown on my social media, it's not a secret. I'm also trying to work at long snapping, which if you're not familiar with football, that's the person who snaps the ball to both the punter and to the punter when he's holding for the kicker for the place kicker on field goals. So that's what I've really been trying to focus in on to be able to extend my career, because you can play a lot longer as a long snapper than a fullback. Fullback's a tough position because not every team has a fullback. So not only are there limited opportunities, But fullback is the closest position that there is to running back, and running back has notoriously the shortest lifespan of any NFL player. Lifespan being career span. So my attempt to switch to long snapping is to be able to have more opportunities and to be able to play for longer. But all these long snappers have been in the league for
forever, like
forever. But they've been, they've been long snapping forever. They've been in that position for so long, and I'm trying to come in as the new guy, saying like, hey, I can compete with these guys. Where they've been doing it they can do it so well. I don't think people who realize.
No, I've seen those. I've seen those
pinpoint.
I was gonna say that I've seen those long snapping competitions. Like I don't know if it's just videos I saw online, but they can it's like William Tell. They can hit an apple off your head.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
No, it's for real. And then not only to be able to do that, but also to be able to block a 290-pound man right in front of you trying to tear your head off, and then to stop doing that and go try to make a tackle. Like that's the difficult part of being a long snapper, and you're not trying to be well-rounded like a linebacker or a receiver might want to be, who can do a lot of different things. You have to do one thing, and you have to do it masterfully. Because if you make one mistake, you can lose your job.
Right.
So I'm trying to get into that world.
32 in the there's only 32 of those positions available. Nobody's there's no backup long snappers. Probably. I mean, there's probably like another player that can.
I mean, if you make a mistake snap over the punter's head, you're going to lose your job, and somebody else who's been fighting to get a job is going to replace you.
Right. Yeah. Like if you're the long snapper, you get maximum one opportunity on a drive.
Exactly.
So
and hopefully
you make that one mistake, like that was it for the drive. Like,
someone needs to make the Ace Ventura for long snap, like the Ray Finkel for the long snapper.
Well, I mean, the laces out part when they're talking about Ace Ventura, like laces out, Dan, like that's usually the long snapper's fault. Yeah, because they're supposed to be able to put it in a spot where the holder doesn't have to twist the ball.
Oh, really? So the long snapper knows? Like, come on! Like they have to spiral the ball so perfectly.
When it's a deep snap, which is what we call punt snaps. When it's a deep snap, you don't have to worry about the laces. But when it's a short snap, because it's only going 8 yards, you have to do it the same way every single time. So and you want it to show up where the laces are like vertical, and so that all the holder has to do is just put it straight down so that it's facing towards the field goal. So it's just so the kicker doesn't have to look at the laces. But if you do end up making a mistake and the rotation is a little bit faster, a little bit slower than normal, if it's pointing to like 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, it doesn't matter because the holder can rotate it and it's fine.
Easy shift, yeah.
But if it's at 6 o'clock, which is backwards, that's the issue. That's when you run into the kicker will get really pissed at you because you snapped it badly, even if it was pinpoint accurate. So it can get really, really detailed. They're specialists. There's a lot of attention to detail there.
Totally makes sense. Very cool that you're finding ways to become more versatile and more valuable. I think that's
and hopefully even if it never comes out to anything, I started doing that when I was trying to join the league to just show my versatility, my ability to possibly eke out another guy on the roster, because every team needs a backup snapper as well. So that's what I would do when I was in Cleveland. As one of my jobs, even though I was on practice squad, was to snap for the show. It was called show punt. So the starting punt return team would have to go against the practice squad guys, and usually if your team doesn't have a good backup snapper, the starting snapper would have to work that as well. And if you're an old 35-year-old dude, and I say old, football old, if you're an old 35-year-old dude who is in his 10th year in the league, that hurts. Every practice snap that you take takes it out of you, and if you can have a backup guy, it's really helpful. So that was one of my contributions into the Browns roster, was being able to consistently be backup snapper.
So because it sounds like you've been you've known that you want to be a career football player for a while. Since you were in high school. When did you start to realize you could adapt? Because the way that you're talking about it is in such a passionate and specific and nerdy way
It's pretty.
When did
right.
you? Because like I feel like a lot of people are just like, yeah, you do the thing and you have to be good enough, and you're like, there's a precision. Like listen to the wind. Like you break off like a piece of wheat and just watch it go.
Yeah.
When did you realize that your football brain was also like working towards your D&D brain? Because when you talk about TTRPG mechanics, whether it's just casually at a party or you're being interviewed by Brendan Lee Mulligan, like it's the most like the way I see you visualizing like a battlefield as you're doing it. It's so specific and tangible. And hearing you talk about football, it's the same way. When did you realize those were lining up?
Oh, I don't know. I think that there's a lot of ways that you can fall into the D&D hobby, and a lot of different ways that you can find joy in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think people always talk about different play styles. For a lot of people with maybe like a theater background or a comedy background, they're really looking to be able to get like the role play aspect, whether that's getting something really serious or something really comedic value.
Mm-hmm.
Where some people are going into it with, and that's me as well. But I think everybody can also find both sides of it and finding the joy of, like, man, it's so fun to be able to like really optimize my character and try to do like the most damage. Like nobody enjoys, now I can't say nobody, but a lot of people don't enjoy like missing in a battle. And being able to show like all the work that you put into it and give value to the rest of your party and kind of show off a little bit is what a lot of people find joy in D&D, and being able to really think about it not only like mathematically, but also from a point of view of like, how can I be the best teammate to other people?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love that part of it. You know, that's that, like just the creativity with like, okay, maybe I missed the shot, but you know, can I ask the question? Did it at least distract the enemy in some way, and like give advantage to the next person, like or come up with some weird reason why your character specifically missing actually like benefits your team or something. Like I love that aspect of it, because there is no, it's another human being who's determining whether whatever you're doing is effective, right? So ultimately, can you just be persuasive enough and show your work enough?
I think my favorite players, and am I allowed to curse on the show? Like
Fuck
just
yeah.
sweet.
Heck yes.
No, just like kind of
not to Omar. You can't curse.
I'll cover my headphones.
I think like my favorite people to play with are the people who are just trying to. I'll be honest. I don't even know if I'm going to swear in the sentence. I just kind of want to know.
Okay. Now you like kind of have to.
We know.
So,
I know.
A curse word in there.
Now I just fucking love to play with people who.
This guy's edgy.
He'll say anything.
That's why I really love to play with people who just like just beg and plead for, like, they try to talk themselves out of like scenarios and just trying to what's the, like, there's a phrase that I'm trying to search for, but I can't exactly think of it. The one person that I really think does a really good job of it is like Emily Axford at the table. I think she is hilarious and just like is so charismatic at the table to be able to just get everybody on her side, including the DM. Those are my favorite people who are just able to, like you said, Sandeep, like just be persuasive, but just being in a way that is just so natural and not like you're trying to get something out of the person.
Right.
To answer your question, Omar, from earlier, of like where I found like that connection between the D&D and football world was, I don't know if I can't exactly tell what it was about D&D that allowed me to really dive headfirst into it. Like I said, I really found a huge creative outlet in D&D, and I think that's the reason for it, like having staying power within my life. But I came at it from a point in which at UNLV, I didn't have a ton of success. I didn't have the college football career that would normally lead to an NFL career. I got to play my first four games, maybe 3 games even, at UNLV as a starting quarterback before I got hurt. And they were only okay. My first game was great. My second game was okay. We had a close loss at UCLA. And then my third game was bad. I didn't play well, and I got hurt. And I didn't play again until the next year, which was going to be my redshirt senior year. It was going to be my 5th year of playing 4 seasons. And I didn't end up winning the starting quarterback job, and I was in a position where I was pretty disappointed. My football career didn't go the way that I thought it was going to, and I still wanted to find the field wherever I could. I asked to play special teams. I ended up being asked to play linebacker on the defensive side. So I wanted to get on the field no matter where I could, and I did end up getting to play some quarterback that year. But I was at a point where I was kind of exploring what the rest of my personality was, and I knew that I had this nerdy side to me. Ever since I started college, I started becoming a regular at the comic book shop, and I found once I transferred to UNLV, I ended up becoming a huge
drug.
It's true. I ended up becoming a regular at this one store called Maximum Comics, and finally,
was there a comic that pulled you in? Like, was there a specific?
So I mean, Batman is the easy answer. I really found my individuality in like the Aquaman comics, because that was like the beginning of the New 52 and the Jeff Johns series. And it was really great.
When the Tritons the truck, right? In the very
the first issue was so good. And then I think I found my true love for comics, not just like superhero comics, in Sex Criminals by Matt Fraction and Chip Zdarsky.
Oh yeah,
wow!
One of the best comic series of all time. I have the whole. Yeah. He's so good. Zdarsky is just a different kind of person, in the best way. But that was my gateway drug into D&D, and just finding because I wasn't a theater kid. I wasn't somebody who had this, endless creative output. I know I keep using that phrase, but it's true. I finally found this ability to create something, express myself, create something that hadn't existed before, even if it was just in words and was completely ephemeral. I was something that I got to affect other people in the time that we got to do it. And that's when I started getting into DMing, and that's why I started into writing my own stories. And that's when, go for it.
No, just what was happening in the locker room at the same time? I'm just curious, like how that translated. Were you like?
Oh, I introduced it to my teammates, or at least a handful of them.
I know you did when you were at the Browns. Was this also in college? You were doing the same thing?
At UNLV, I introduced it to. So a similar story that I tell when not only in Cleveland but also in college. Like I knew there were a handful of guys who could hang. Who were cool in terms of getting to like talk about nerdy stuff with. Not everybody you can do that with. Right. So I found the nerdiest guys in the team and said, "Hey, do you want to play D&D?" And they said, "Yeah, screw it, let's do it." And we had a great time of it. We only had like 3 or 4 sessions together, but they really enjoyed, the group that they had made, and I had a fun time creating a story for them. And
was this your first time DMing, basically?
Yeah, thankfully it was for completely new players, because I had no idea what I was doing.
They couldn't call you out on anything.
No.
Yeah. That's really wild. So was it something? I'm just curious. Like, was it something like you had to keep secretive or anything? Like, were you going to get made fun of from other players, or was it like, whatever,
it wasn't? I mean, it definitely wasn't to the point where it is now, where it's like a major part of like my life, which is like, I think it can feel silly to say outwardly, but I don't think anybody would argue that. Like, it is a major point in my life, but at that point it wasn't necessarily. It was still something that I found a lot of joy in, and was learning that I was passionate about it, but it wasn't something that I even felt necessary to talk about, just except for with the guys that I played with.
Right.
And then when I got to the point where we were in Cleveland, and I did introduce it to Myles Garrett, who former #1 overall draft pick and ended up being in my D&D group. Once people found out that we were playing together, it actually all kind of came out after I scored my touchdown in the 2021 season, because I wore a Critical Role shirt to the game. That was on Critical Role's Campaign 3, like not finale. What's the opposite of that? Premiere. And that's when we decided, okay, I asked the guys, like, hey, it would be cool if we took a picture, and like I posted about it, because I think people would get a kick out of us playing together, because it was all secretive before that.
Yeah.
And then Sports Illustrated wanted to do a story on us. ESPN did a story on us, and it just became a much bigger thing than just a little home game.
So I'm curious about that, because the ESPN thing, that wasn't too long ago, right? That ESPN feature.
No,
that was like a couple months ago.
That got featured last October 30th, I want to say, or 29th.
Time flies. Okay.
It does. It does. And it was supposed to come out earlier than that. I'll keep the story short, but we recorded that last July during training camp.
Wow.
And for those that don't know, like, tell us what it was, like what the
Sure.
ESPN
So if you want to watch it,
was.
if I can plug my little dinky website, StantonIV.com is it Stanton IV or is it Johnny Stanton IV? I gotta check this. It's StantonIV.com. Did you lose me?
No, we still got you.
Oh wait. Okay, cool. So if you go to StantonIV.com, you can see the story that ESPN did on us. And this was, so the Sports Illustrated story came out right after, I believe, the 2021 season. One of their writers came out to watch our penultimate session of the season to be able to kind of document it and be able to watch us play and kind of see what it was like watching these NFL players be nerdy around a table. And this was at Myles Garrett's house, and they took a couple pictures on an iPhone and ended up getting published online and then in print on Sports Illustrated for Kids, which I thought was super cool.
That's great.
Yeah. Nice. So that story came out a couple months later during the spring when I came back to Cleveland. We were having practices. The ESPN beat writer for the Browns came up to me and says, "Hey, read that Sports Illustrated article. I'm so bummed because we wanted to do a story about that." And I'm like, well, I mean, you still can. Like, you guys didn't get like the jump on or anything.
It's not over now.
Yeah, it's not exclusive. So he said, "Yeah, I want to get it on like Sports Center or something." I'm like, "Okay, well, good luck with that. Like, let me know when you get any headway with that." And he comes back to me a month later and says, "Hey, can we get a session going where we can record you guys and get like these really high tech cameras in and get all lighting and stuff?" I'm like, sure, let's do it this summer. Like, let's make sure, like, I was nervous about making the team, and like I don't want to necessarily have to focus on this. Like, all the other games were happening during the season. So I said, sure, like let's get something on the books. We ended up getting the Wizards of the Coast involved. They sent out a terrain designer, like somebody who had like this huge collection of pieces to create this really cool battlefield for us. And we ended up playing this awesome game in front of like 2 TV, like high quality cameras, with crazy lighting and like really close in zoom ins on like these crazy minis. And it was really cool. That happened in July. We were trying to figure out when the turnaround for it was. I was hoping it would come out sometime during training camp. And I don't know how honest I can be, to be completely honest, on a podcast, but there were mitigating factors and stuff that came out during training camp. The Cleveland Browns were the focus of a lot of off-season talk during that off-season. And it had to get pushed back because some news came out. Because it got pushed back, I started getting a little nervous. I'm like, okay, I can see the writing on the wall. Yeah, no, you understand what I'm talking about just without saying it.
You could do some.
If you follow football, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I started getting nervous because I knew the position I was in, and there was a chance that I wasn't going to be on the team. And as time went on, I could realize that was going to be more and more clear. And they said, okay, we're going to try to do it right before week 1.
I'm just curious, like, it's more and more clear in that moment because they're just like are they not using the fullback as much? And you're just like, they're clearly getting away from my position. Because that's the thing about the fullback position, right? Is that like it's really something you have to like game plan in. It's not a given position, right? Like
not every team has one. And the Browns were one of the teams under Kevin Stefanski to bring back in the fullback after a couple years where they didn't have it.
Yep.
So I was looking forward to the 2022 season because I was told that this was going to be my year. But because we had a new quarterback, we decided to switch the offense and we weren't going to use the fullback as much. And my usefulness was starting to dwindle, despite trying to teach me tight end and running back and all these different positions.
It's like in the moment, like you could see, like you kind of saw the writing on the wall, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I could, like, hindsight, it was a lot more clear. But I was trying to keep a lot of hope and trying to count on myself. I don't know if, I'm sure that if I had rocked the world as a tight end, I would have made the team, but I hadn't been learning that position. It's a complete other
that's
position.
so hard. How can you expect to just jump into another position? That's so hard. That's so tough.
So it was. I was put in a tough position. I ended up getting cut, and then when that was realized, the ESPN reporter said, "Hey, we're gonna have to figure some things out." The ESPN producer as well. We're gonna have to figure some things out because, we still think that this is going to come out, but we're just going to have to time it correctly.
Right.
So
let some heat die down kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they made a new cut of it, just kind of adjusted my title really, and said, "Hey, we're going to show it this day or something." Mm-hmm. And right before that, Myles Garrett gets into a bad car crash. He was okay, but he ended up missing a game, and because that was in the news, they didn't want to have that on the same news cycle.
Oh my god.
And then finally they said, okay, we have good news. It's coming out. It's not going to be on the Monday Night Football intro, though. Mm-hmm. It was going to be on Monday Night Football leading up into the Monday Night Football game between the Browns and the Bengals. Whoa. But that spot got taken. And it got cannibalized because Myles Garrett had this thing. His team decided to, went to ESPN and said, hey, we got the kid from Stranger Things. Myles and the kid are going to go trick-or-treating. Myles is going to be dressed up as Vecna, and you guys are going to put this on Monday Night intro before the game.
You got Vecna.
I got Vecna. I got Vecna hard.
You were running up that hill, but you got Vecna.
Yeah. So and it was great. It got TV time, and it went on. It went on Sunday, the day before the Monday night game, on in the 4:00 hour or something between games. So it was great. It was very cool to be able to have that happen, but it's just the story of it coming out was wild and long-winded. Sorry.
I think that it's not only have you, because we met at last year's Comic-Con. I think was the first time we met in person.
I think so.
And and to me, it was I was instantly struck by how good your presence is in the nerd space. Because I feel like I'm used to go to comic book shops when I was just in high school and stuff, and it was there were cliques, there were as much as we want to be no, it was the cool accepting thing, it would be a thing where it's you never played D&D before, then you will never play it ever or whatever. And it was a lot of we were still kind of figuring out the nerd space, and new Star Wars movies came out, and I think that was very you can go back and look at those comments to see how it was a couple years ago. And I feel it is.
And we're still in that space, I think.
We're definitely
in
not
a lot
out
of worlds,
of it. But I love the work you're doing to be hey, stop putting yourself in a square. Stop putting yourself in sticking to a label and limiting yourself of what you can be into, but also what you can do. You talking about this, I would have been so discouraged, and I feel you just bring an energy of let's go, let's just keep going, no matter what. And I feel right now with the strike going on for us, with a lot of stuff going on in the world, that's such a good energy to sort of bring to everyone, to be hey, if something doesn't work out, shift 2 inches to the right and and go down until they stop you.
My whole mindset going about this kind of new journey is, don't allow yourself to be put into a box. Mm-hmm. And even if you fit nicely in that box, don't feel like you only need to be in that. There's so many false labels that people put on you, and you don't need to be limited by what those labels are. You can feel free to identify by it, but don't feel yourself limited to it. My whole thing is I'm trying to break down the nerd jock binary, false binary, because there shouldn't be, this rivalry or whatever, or, it's an 80s stereotype at this point that I think that really doesn't, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been in high school, but I feel like it doesn't really exist anymore. But, cause I feel like the kids are a lot more accepting than they used to be.
They're very good.
It seems like that. I don't know. Again,
I hope so.
It seems like for my nieces and nephews, I'm not in high school, but that they don't. It doesn't seem like the cliques. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you can see the gray in my hair. but definitely not. But it seems like the cliques have frayed a little bit, right? Right? I don't know.
There's always going to be cliques. I just think for the rivalry or like the forced rivalry amongst people and kind of like the hierarchy, I think might not quite exist the same way it used to.
Yeah.
But again, I have no idea.
We're all too old for that.
Yeah.
To know firsthand. But no, it's really cool. So I guess bring us into Athletics Check. Like where you're at with that now, what's going on with it.
Well, there's a lot that I want to do with it. There's a lot that I think there are a lot of possibilities that I have in my imagination of what combining the world of TTRPG and sports can mean. The people that can be involved, because I'm not the only person by any means that has one foot in both those worlds.
Right.
And I want to bring.
Are there others that we may have heard of? Like, who are the others that are like kind of?
Well, Miles Garrett, like my teammate. Travis Fredericks is he is the CTO at Demiplane, and he was an All-Pro lineman for the Cowboys for several years.
Wild.
Cool.
Yeah. So then there is a lot of WWE wrestlers, Xavier Woods.
Because they're already RPing.
I know, exactly. That's what they're doing.
Makes so much sense to me.
Tim Duncan reportedly. What's that? Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Like really, really physical LARPing. And Tim Duncan reportedly was, if you know who that is, he's a Hall of Fame basketball player.
Yeah.
Reportedly was a
Tim
D&D
Duncan.
player. Yeah.
Oh, was he? I didn't know that.
Reportedly. I don't. He's not the most
he's not
talkative guy. So it could be a false story that was put out there, but that's what I've heard.
And he'll neither confirm nor deny. Because he doesn't talk. Okay. That would be dope to play D&D with Tim Duncan.
I get asked a lot, like the number one person that I could play D&D with, and I think this is inside of the world of sports and outside. I don't think it has to be limited to that for this answer. It's Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah,
I think if I had to get Marshawn Lynch at a table, it would be an epic moment. Because I don't know if you guys saw him on Murderville.
Right? Yeah.
Hilarious.
I did not see him, but have you had any interaction with him before? Like,
no, I'm only like 2 degrees of separation from him, as I am with like pretty much anybody in the NFL. But
if you approach from the football angle, we approach from the improv angle. I feel like we can get him.
Yeah, I think we can get him. He is notoriously hard to tackle, but I think we can get him. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things that I think that Athletics Check can become. Right now, it's a TikTok and Instagram like series that I'm doing, introducing these two worlds to each other. But a podcast is a possibility. Not to compete with you guys.
Whoa!
Sunday nights? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I think it can be, and I'm just kind of testing the waters and seeing what the audience is, because I always say the Venn diagram between those two fandoms is a lot bigger than people think.
Yeah.
It's also just, it's such perception based, right? Because like, in a way you are like, think about all the people playing fantasy football.
Yeah.
Like you're tracking stats and building your own team, and like you're basically
people don't know that they like both sides, really.
Yeah, exactly. They're not aware.
Because a lot of people fought back as like growing up as nerds, and maybe made fun of that for that. They had this idea of what sports is and the people who like sports, and it's the same way the other way. Like you grow up as a jock and you kind of feel like I felt, and one of the things, the reasons why I've really tried to spread the word of like being more than one thing, is that within the NFL, you're looking for, just like I was trying to become a long snapper and become like a backup long snapper for a team to just like barely make that cut if that's what it comes down to. Guys are afraid, rightfully so, to give the front office any reason to cut them. Yeah. And anything can be perceived as a weakness.
Yeah.
Right.
An interest in something outside of football
Yep.
can be considered
I was
a weakness.
exactly wondering that because I follow the Patriots a lot, so I read all the like Belichick lore about how he's so everything football, right? Like it feels like any reason to cut you is a reason he'll basically take. So I was curious about that. Like how did you navigate that? I know you were about to say that anyway, but yeah.
Well, it didn't end up being a thing. It wasn't anything to become navigatable, because I was able to handle the job outside of that. Like as long as you can take care of your job, then that's what it comes down to. And on top of that, when it started becoming a thing where I was able to include like charity and raising money for stuff like Red Nose Day, we had this live event that we ran at a board game cafe in Cleveland where we got my teammates Miles Garrett and Wyatt Seller to play with Ify Wadaway and Abria Iyengar in front of a big audience of like 100 people and a bunch of people watching on Twitch, and we raised like nearly $20,000 for it. So when they got to attach their name to that, anything to make the team's name look good, then they're going to help out on. So, when it came down to getting ready for last season, they decided to have me in on one of their social media things. It's like, hey, draw your D&D character that you used for that they used for rolling for Red Nose Day, and they got a bunch of views on social media. So when it started becoming valuable to them is when it and that's what the NFL is. Like they'll do anything to make sure that it's increasing their public value.
And it's like reaching into like, I mean, we're talking about the like it's what's good for the world and good for society, but like just in terms of a company, you're getting access to a whole new like realm, a new culture, a new market.
And that's what I'm trying to show, like the world of TTRPG and to the world of NFL is like you have these huge populations of huge diehard fans that you can, even if you just get a fraction of them, it's better for the bottom line.
Yeah.
My initial vector into football actually was my D&D DM inviting us to play fantasy. Like, hey, you like this game too? And like that's actually what initially got me into it.
That's awesome.
In many ways, football.
Yeah.
Right. I think football is like the nerd. It's the kind of the nerdiest sport, right? In a way.
Oh, baseball's the nerdiest sport.
You think? Oh, stats.
The stats. I mean, football's getting there with the stats.
Yeah. No, but I think that like I don't know. I feel like with the what are they called? The A64s or whatever it is, like the play breakdowns that you could that they're doing now.
There's the all 22.
All 22s. Yeah. Something like that. It's like. It's like a physical live version of chess in a way. Right? That's what they say, right? Like each team is sort of positioning their players, and then like they hit play essentially, and then you watch your.
Football is chess. Baseball is straight math. Like there are so many decisions that are purely mathematical decisions. It's crazy.
Okay, interesting.
I also feel like the turn base in baseball is really easy for people who play TTRPGs to get, where you're like, well, what's initiative? This one's actually really straightforward. So like, someone's going to step up, and then you're going to make this, and it's going to be an opposed check, like the pitcher versus the batter. And then once you get it, you roll to hit, and if you hit, then we can figure out two more steps of like who's
the tough one's basketball to relate to it, because that's just like nonstop. Soccer.
I just think. I think I'm going to argue back for football because I feel like it's like, okay, there's a clear offense and defense, so you know that there's like, all right, how many mobs are, how many bad guys are there that I got to fight? Like, okay, there's 11. I have how many are in my party? 11. Okay, so where am I going to place everybody? Like, like physically in this space. How far am I away from how far is the cornerback, guarding me on this play? So I should do a stop and go, or
and there is the precious artifact that you're all protecting, which is
it's the MacGuffin. It is the ultimate sports MacGuffin.
Yeah. And you got the two territories on either side as the end zone. So
it is just an active. It's LARP wargaming.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of the you're saying, the Venn diagram is closer to a full circle than people will admit. I believe we have a little game to kind of bring both worlds together to show us just how alike these two are.
Now, usually usually Omar and I, or either Omar and I or Delvin run the game. But we figure, look, Johnny is a DM, a GM.
You're coming into my world.
Yeah. So, and we want to sort of experience athletics check, in our own way. So Johnny is going to be running the game, and we are going to be competing, me and Omar, against each other.
Yeah. So,
Johnny.
What we're going to do, and I'm still working on a name for it. I have a working title.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If you'll allow me, I'm calling this Mascot or Maskoff. It's a bad name. To be completely
really
fair,
good.
it's a really bad name.
Mascot or Mascoff? Is that what you said?
Yeah, no, the second part doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to give you is a list of 12 team names.
Okay.
Some of them might be real professional, semi-professional college sports teams.
Okay.
Okay.
Some of them might be made up.
Okay.
There are a lot of sports teams that use fantasy naming conventions.
Right.
And your job is to figure out if I made it up or if every team name is made up at some point, if this is an actual team name.
Got it. So if it's a mascot or a mask-off.
So bad.
You say mask off? Is that what you said?
Yeah, mask off.
Okay. Like face off, mask off. Yeah.
Oh.
No, I think this is the perfect name. I thought you
so
said
bad.
Mask Goff, and I was like,
Mask
I even
Goff.
like that idea.
Mask
Anyway, okay.
Jared Goff.
The first
get
team
it
is
now.
The Cure. I'm going to go with Mask Goth.
All right. Team one.
All right.
Okay.
This will get progressively harder.
Ooh, okay.
Team one,
The Blue Jays.
Orlando Magic.
Oh,
Team.
yeah, that's a real team. I know that.
That is a real team. Correct. Good job.
Yeah.
But sounds fantasy.
It's exactly that's why I put it on the name. Put it on the list.
Yeah.
So the Orlando Magic. Hey, we got an active list here. Awesome. Obviously, it alludes to Disney World being in Orlando.
Right.
This was part of the NBA expansion in the late 1980s, along with the Miami Heat. Other team names that Orlando considered were the Orlando Tropics and the Orlando Juice.
Yeah, I remember the Juice, and then there was a whole bunch of jokes about OJ, and anyway, okay, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding myself and saying that I was around for the expansion. I'm old.
I got to be
Anyway.
honest. I think that there's a lot of territory you run into by calling your team the Juice.
The
I
Juice.
think
There's.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
think that's a great jersey. Personally, although the Magic do have, I think, one of the best jerseys in the NBA. The pinstripes, you can't beat them.
Yep.
Sorry.
Okay.
It's tricky.
In
Whoever
Florida.
pitched that in Florida was really like, okay, well, no bad
Okay.
ideas, but we're
No bad
gonna
ideas.
go with Magic.
You're
No bad
definitely
ideas, team
fired,
two.
but no bad ideas.
Team 2,
All right, here we go.
Yeah.
the Sleepy Hollow Shadows.
Ooh. Okay. So okay. Are we like playing on a team together, Omar, or are we?
No,
is
we're
this
playing
You
co-op?
guys choose.
against.
Oh,
We're
okay.
playing
Oh, okay.
against.
We're against.
I'm saying it's
okay. God.
not real.
Okay.
Okay. There is I know that Sleepy Hollow is a real place. I visited Sleepy Hollow,
Okay.
and I feel
humble
like humble brag. It's not as cool as you think. It was fine. There was a bridge there.
brag.
So-
Ichabod is problematic.
Here's the bridge, but it looks like a regular bridge. It wasn't like old timey at all. It's like awesome. So I figured that they're gonna have to name their team something. Like if there is a team there, like wouldn't they want to play into something scary or
Sure.
whatever?
Okay, so you're going team because
So,
you're like it's a real place.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna go like. Okay, I assume maybe are there high school teams on this list potentially?
No high school teams.
So these are semi-pro. See, that's where I think it's fake.
It's college to professional.
I don't think there's any. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna also say fake. Sorry, because I don't think
You guys are correct.
Team there.
There is no Sleepy Hollow Shadows that I could find on the internet.
Okay. Nice.
There is 2 Sleepy Hollows that I could find of in the U.S. The one I believe that you're familiar with, Sandeep, is in New York. Yeah,
Yep.
it's just north of Yonkers. And there's actually a second one here in Southern California. It's
What?
an unincorporated town between Chino and Yorba Linda up in the hills.
Wait, okay.
Yeah.
Should we all go
I think we
That's
should.
amazing.
and start a team called the Shadows there? Okay. All right.
All right. Team number 3.
Okay.
The Salem University Specters.
That's good.
Okay. So
I'm gonna
specters are a ghost,
yeah.
right? They're ghosts.
Yes. I'm gonna say I'm voting real just because I've been to Salem, Massachusetts,
I'm
and they're
voting real,
all
too.
about it. It's the only town in
It's their
America
thing.
that's themed. Yeah.
It's their identity. I mean, I've been to Salem a bunch, so I'm from New Hampshire. So like all of our high school, we had so many.
I feel like that's a classic Halloween
frickin-
trip for the New England
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
Oh, we did it all the time. I did like 3 times. I saw the 7 Gables like a million times in my life. So yes, I'm gonna go real as well. They're super into witches. Let's go.
Got both of you on that one. That is a fake team name.
No!
Yep.
Lies.
Yeah. So that one is obviously Salem has a long history with the witch trials, and I figured play on that. But both of you coming up nil on that one. But you still have plenty of more opportunities to score here. We
A
have
lot of game left.
number 4,
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
the Seattle Kraken.
Okay, that is real. Sorry. I mean, no, it's. I don't know. I'm not sure. Omar, you guess first.
It's the hockey team, isn't it?
No.
No?
What does that have to do? How can it be a hockey team? It's a water-based creature.
That's a really good
Are they
point.
frozen
Sandeep. You're right.
underneath the ice?
That's a
stupid.
really good point.
Yeah, who knows about the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah, the Marlins really but we started as a swim team.
Yeah, I it's a real team.
I'm gonna say real.
It is correct. That is a real team. It is the newest NHL expansion team. Their first year was in 2021. And they named themselves that because in the Puget Sound, that is a native area for the giant Pacific octopus.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though I feel like the Kraken is more of like a giant squid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
also a mythical
Like
creature.
the Pirates movie, I think is the only time that.
that I've seen one in real life.
Also, I'm from San Jose's. Why did I get stumped on that for a second when you're like, but
You guys have the
Anti Force
Sharks.
One- I'm the Sharks.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No,
Terrible.
yeah, I think yeah. I have a problem with team names that don't have a plural. It really rubs
sure.
me the wrong way.
oh,
Well,
that's
I
the
mean,
one crap.
the Orlando Magic is there. Miami Heat
I
is
know.
there.
Miami Heat,
Yeah.
Orlando Magic. It's hard. It's hard to because then you're like, are you a Kraken?
Cornell Big Red.
Are you a
Alabama Crimson
you-
Tide.
like the
Sorry, I keep
individual
interrupting.
player?
Yep.
No, the individual player. Is that person is Dwayne Wade a Heat?
Well,
Singular.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about the band
Or is he a
Travis?
unit? Yeah, I don't love it.
Are you? Hello, I am a member of Train. I am a Train.
A trade.
I am trained.
Okay, team number 5,
This is getting serious
The-
now.
the New Orleans Night Stalkers.
Oh.
Sounds racy, right? Which I guess New Orleans is. It's like, what if they just took the night out of their name?
I'm gonna go the opposite of whatever you say, Sandeep.
That's what I was gonna do.
In that
Okay,
case,
so I'll go-
I'm saying it's real
Okay, I'll say it's not real.
because I want
That
it
is-
to be.
That is fake.
No.
Yeah.
I was hoping you would go real. Yes.
Yeah. No, the
Okay, so Delvin made an image of the Night Stalker.
It's
Beautiful.
Kolchak, the Night Stalker,
Oh,
one of the
Kolchak,
greatest
the
shows
Night
of all
Stalker.
time.
Got it. I don't know what that is.
and I feel like the D&D side of it, more like I know there's a Night Walker. I don't know if there's Night Stalker. I forget. Whatever. Team number 6.
Oh my
We
god.
have the Washington Mystics.
This is my chance to come back. I'm saying it's real.
The Washington Mystics.
The Washington Mystics. They're up in
What?
Olympia, is the capital of Washington.
Oh,
I feel like...
it's so Washington State. See, I immediately went DC
wow.
in my brain. The Mystics. I don't know. I'll say fake then. You said
If
real,
it's
right?
if it's a real DC team though, that's a secret society. Like,
It's the Illuminati.
Are we going, Omar? What are you getting?
I'm saying real. I'm saying Washington
Okay.
State.
And Sandeep, you're saying
I'll say
fake?
fake. Yeah, I'll say fake.
Okay. That is a real team. That is a WNBA team owned by the same owner as the Washington Wizards. That is a Washington, D.C. team.
Now I just feel
Has a
sexist.
type. Has a type.
Well, I think that's what I do enjoy that, because a lot of the WNBA teams have the same owner in the same city. So the LA Sparks are also owned by, I think, the Buss family, I believe. And it's the Lakers, and the Sparks aren't necessarily similar, but they have a similar logo.
Yeah. Right.
The Phoenix has the Suns, and they have the WNBA team, the Mercury. So there's a lot of ones that are around the kind of complementary team names.
Even though it doesn't end in an S, I'm okay with it.
That's true. Yeah. Team number 7, we have the Hartford Hydra.
Fake. I'm gonna go fake.
Connecticut, right? I'm saying real because that's great.
You like it? You do like the Hydra?
I love it, but I think it's fake.
It's also an alliteration. I feel like that puts us in a pretty.
A lot of cities do
they like
alliteration.
They sure do.
The Hydra, unfortunately, is fake.
No.
That is.
The Philadelphia Phillies.
So there are so many minor league team names that are just absolutely buck wild.
Yes.
And one of them is my favorite, the Hartford Yard Goats.
Yard Goats.
Is the Double-A affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. Hartford, Connecticut does have a baseball team. They do have a professional team, but it is not the Hydra.
Well, I feel a little bit like we could combine those. Multi-headed goat.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And every time you
Yeah, I mean, the goat is usually part of a Hydra.
To appear.
Oh, no, that's a chimera. Chimeras have the goat head. Yeah.
Goat Druz. I like it.
The goat dress.
Okay, so Sandeep, you're squeaking ahead. You're one ahead.
Squeak, 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 squeak.
Yeah, Delvin, what's the scoreboard looking like?
Anyone's game currently.
And how many are left?
We have 5 left.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you guys want to go this far.
Let's do anyone's game.
Feel free to shut it down early.
Go speed.
Number 8, we have Dayton Dragons.
Real.
Dayton Dragon. I feel like you should tell us what type of team, like what sport it is.
Yeah, but that's too easy.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I know. I want to be able to poke holes. All right, Dayton Dragons.
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. Why would they have a semi-pro team in any way, shape, or form? Is what I'm trying to wonder.
Wow.
No offense.
It's a semi-pro NASCAR team. I don't know what's confusing about that.
Oh yeah, I guess that's right. They have the NASCAR stuff. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go real. I'll go real.
NASCAR. Are you thinking of Daytona?
Oh, I am. I'm gonna go fake.
Well, I'm just trying to throw Sandeep off.
What did you say? You said real?
I said real.
I'll go fake. I was totally thinking of Daytona.
That one is real. The Dayton Dragons are a high A affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds, and they actually have they broke the record for most consecutive sold-out games in 2011 with 815 games in a row. They had 815 games in a row that they sold out their professional stadium.
Who's their affiliate?
The Reds.
The Reds. The Reds.
I don't know if they were then, because they shuffle all the time.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how that works.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Funny enough, I was actually at the college team. I was on the college team that had the longest consecutive sellout record, which is the Nebraska Cornhuskers football team. Their record is 389 games in a row that they have sold out.
Wow.
So this was 815?
815. I can imagine that Nebraska's football stadium is probably a good amount bigger.
Yeah.
Because they hold like 90,000.
Yeah, there's like 90. It's like it fits 90.
Yeah, our podcast is sold out consecutively every week.
Thanks to the invisible friends in Sandeep's house, yeah.
It's all seats.
Although there aren't, that many games in a
couches.
given football season, whereas 815 games, that's one season.
Next team, we have the Stony Brook Seawolves.
God, that's good.
A sea wolf is like a wet dog.
That's really
okay? Good. It's just a wet dog.
I'm going to say fake. As much as I want it to be real, I feel like the alliteration game is burned out. I'm going fake.
Stony Brook? I don't even know where Stony Brook is. Is that what you said? Stony Brook?
Stony Brook is in New York. These are all real places.
Okay. I'm going to say the place. I'm saying the place is fake. That's what
The Seawolves are real. But they're just they're in Springfield, Illinois.
Stony Brook Seawolves. I'm gonna say fake as well.
They are a real team. There's a real school, Stony Brook, I think, University, located in Stony Brook, New York. It is named after the Linkit myth, which is a native people in the Pacific Northwest of the Gona Cadet. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Ooh.
A human turned sea monster that brings good luck to you if you see or hear it.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think that there's also the University of Alaska in Anchorage is also the Seawolves. I think I saw that when I was looking. Yeah, there's a few Seawolves.
Listen, I'm sorry, but that mascot does not look very wet.
They could have made it look more
underwater.
wet.
Didn't you learn anything from the Aquaman movies?
And the latest Avatar.
All right, next one. We have Trinity Christian College Trolls.
No way.
No, you can't.
The Trinity Trolls.
That can't be right.
I'm going yes.
You're going yes?
I'm gambling.
Would a Christian college call themselves trolls when, like, trifecta is right there or something?
And Jesus is right there.
And Jesus, the Jesuses. The Trinity.
The prayers.
Wait, did you say the school's name was Trinity?
Trinity Christian College Trolls.
I'm lost.
I'm going
They can't call
trolls
themselves
all the
Trinity.
way.
Trinity.
Yeah.
The Trinity.
The fighting Christians.
I'm gonna go fake.
That is a real school, real team name in Palace Heights, Illinois, right outside of Chicago. Look at that logo.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a real logo.
love it.
I think that they recently redesigned it based on their website. The team name originated from a troll that guarded the entrance of the golf course upon which the campus now sits.
Wow. Amazing.
I assume it was some kind of like garden troll, like a garden gnome, not like a real troll that guarded the entrance.
Why would it be a real troll?
Also,
You're right.
shout out to the university for replacing a golf course, just because in California we have so many water problems that I feel.
Well,
like,
I believe that it was a similar naming convention as, there's UC Santa Cruz here in California. They're the banana slugs, but they named them that kind of jokingly, and then it became serious and they became proud of it. Same thing, I think, with the University of Irvine Anteaters. University of California Irvine Anteaters.
No, it was a joke.
You think it started as a meme, basically?
It started off as a meme and then like voted on by students, and then became serious. And they have a full-fledged sports program.
They could have the trolls because everything there is themed after Lord of the Rings, and it's a ring campus and stuff. But Anteater, it still works.
Yeah. All right, we got 2 left. We have Omar up by 1.
Anyone's game, but if I get this next one, that's it, Sandeep.
It's not
Number 11.
Yeah.
The Boca Raton Community College Basilisks.
Oh my god.
I'll say that one more time because I flubbed over it. Boca Raton Community College Basilisks.
I'm going to say fake only based on the flub.
I'm going real
Thanks.
because of the flub. Because you were so scared at the sight of the basilisk.
Yeah. Horrified. Then turned to stone. You guys.
I gamed it.
I'm staying real.
I'm going fake. Here we go.
It is fake. The Boca Raton Basilisks are not a real team. However, the Florida Launch, which is a professional lacrosse team, is located in Boca Raton.
Yeah,
That's a great name.
Yeah, Launch.
Oh yeah.
And that's a great symbol.
They're selling me on these
Get some merch.
pluralized names.
I'm getting
Let's
get the podcast to throw some money towards sponsor them. Thank you.
Yeah. Launch.
I love so many of these. I get the feeling of like looking at like a Pixar movie concept art book where I'm just like, yeah, that's really cool. That's someone's best work. That's pretty rad.
Although, have you seen So I was at UNLV when they decided to redo the logo of the Rebels, and the Rebels are a little bit of a problematic name. Mm-hmm. They are red and gray. It's not technically supposed to be the Civil War South,
what's wrong with that? Oh, right.
I know, but it's supposed to look like a old timey soldier, and their colors are red and gray. It's not a hard leap of logic.
Not a leap,
Yeah, so there have been talks of them possibly changing their logo, but they did try to change their team name. They did try to redo the logo, and they did it pretty badly. Like I was at the school at the time. It was not a very clear looking logo. They actually retconned it so that it's not that new logo anymore. It's back to the original one with the man with the big mustache. But there are bad logos. I think the LA Chargers, when they first moved up from San Diego, tried this one logo where the L and the A are like the lightning bolt symbols, and everybody ragged on them. And they're like, "Oh, that was just like a concept art. We're not actually doing that one."
Right.
Like, throw away all the helmets.
Exactly.
Burn all the
so there are bad logos that come out all the time, but the Florida launch nailed it. Okay, last team. We're tied up.
Yeah.
This is it, guys.
6-6.
We choose what one chooses real, one chooses fake. This is how it happens.
I mean, if that's the way you guys want to go. Team number 12, and you guys might already be familiar with this one. The Albuquerque Isotopes.
Okay. I'm going to say, I think it's real. I'm going to say it's real.
There's a good chance it's real. The thing is, and here's where I'm like, interesting, are you playing 4D chess with us, sir? The Isotopes are the Springfield Isotopes in The Simpsons.
Ooh, shit. Well, okay, I'm going to say real, so I'm locked in.
Okay, I'm saying fake, it's Simpsons.
It should be Simpsons, okay?
While inspired by the Springfield Isotopes, the Albuquerque Isotopes is a real team name.
No!
The AAA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies have all the cool names.
Victory!
Sandeep wins by 1. Albuquerque, they were inspired by the Springfield Isotopes from the Dance and Homer episode of The Simpsons.
Man,
but yeah,
I feel
that
like
is a
you
real
should get an
team.
extra point for that, honestly.
What is this goof troop like?
For knowing
The logo, that font is something else.
I mean, they probably, again, inspired by The Simpsons, like something cartoony, right?
Yeah.
Minor League Baseball has the best names, and Isotopes were kind of the start of that trend towards like having goofier names. Apparently, their first year of being a minor league team, they like had the most merchandise sold throughout like the whole minor leagues.
That's it. It's all about the merch. Yeah.
What a perfect team. I'm upset that I lost, but I'm glad that we went out on the Isotopes because in the thesis of there is more in common with athleticism and like D&D and nerdiness. A team that was like, someone went, "Hey, what if we name ourselves after, the Simpsons baseball team?" And everyone went, "Amazing. That's pretty good."
Yeah, sounds pretty good. It'll sell some merch. It'll sell some uniforms. I mean, because that's the thing is like, I was a Red Sox fan, so if I go to a Pawtucket Red Sox game, I'm not going to buy the Pawtucket Red Sox jersey.
Yeah, Oklahoma City Dodgers. Yeah.
Red Sox jersey.
Amazing.
Dude, thank you for bringing the game. Johnny,
thank you
thanks
for playing.
For being on the pod. It was wonderful. Where can folks, remind them once again where they can find you and what you're up to next?
Well, I'm doing weekly episodes of Athletics Check on my TikTok and Instagram account. You can find me there at Johnny Stanton IV, as well as all social media. You can find me there. But thanks so much for having me, guys, and hopefully I'll have a podcast that I can have you guys on at some point.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
And as you shout out yourself, is there someone else you want to shout out? Like we like sort of like passing the torch kind of thing. Is there another D&D athlete or nerdy athlete or whatever?
Sure. Go root for Jamal Williams. The running back right now probably end up back up for the starter over there in New Orleans Saints. He is a huge anime nerd and is like loud and proud about it.
Right.
So yeah, go give him a follow. He's a good follow on social media and just an overall entertaining guy.
Amazing.
And draft him on your fantasy team.
Yeah, he's a good pick, to be honest.
Yeah, sweet. All right. Thank you so much, man. And we hope that, of course, if you make it back in, that'll be my second favorite team. Sorry, I'm a Pats fan. Unless you end up with the Pats, and then my life is complete. So if you can do that for me, that'd be really great.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put that on the list.
Yeah, we're always rooting for you, man.
Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you having me on.
Right back at you. What a great interview. What a great gentleman.
Gentleman, indeed. I just love, you have a preconceived notion of what you think like a professional football player, what might be.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you in terms of stereotypes, and he belies it, he betrays all those stereotypes, right? He's so vulnerable. He's not. He's like humble. He's kind. He's like just it was a great interview. Super interesting point of view, and yeah, I just really enjoyed that interview. What a good dude.
Well, we could go on and on about it, but we
Indeed.
do have one last segment in our show, which is the Daisy of the Week.
Noises. Do boo boo
Oh,
boo.
we can do a block.
Yeah. We've got a very
Waiting
special
for that
one this week, folks.
brown note. Indeed. Our Daisy of the Week is another honorary Daisy. Because our producer, the guy who launched our show with us, Diego Lanao, is moving on. He's leaving the show.
Mm-hmm.
We love the guy. We wish him the best and wanted to shout him out. I think it, I don't know if this is like an unofficial rule or not, but if you do 27 episodes of of it, like, an all Daisy podcast, that officially makes you, an
I think
honorary
so.
Daisy.
You're in.
Yeah, you're in.
I think you're absolutely in. Diego is one of the nicest people I've ever had a chance to work with. He is so complimentary, takes time out of his day to acknowledge what everyone else is doing really well. And then also when we were applauding him on our last meeting, he pushed away. He's the most humble guy. He's not here to
He couldn't take any praise.
He couldn't even handle it.
Yeah.
He could not handle it at all.
Yeah. You could feel him blush. You could feel him blush through the internet.
Yeah.
Yes, talented, smart dude, great writer, and really helped us put the show together. So we wish Diego nothing but the absolute best.
Yeah.
On the next leg of his journey.
And to wish him well and to send him out, I want to remind everyone of the joke that he was the most proud of on this entire show.
Yeah.
Which was on our Pride episode. He came up with a segment named "Let's Get Proud," and he was
so proud,
so giddy
happy.
about it in the meeting.
So proud of that.
He never flaunts his own stuff, and I remember after that segment, when we were talking about it, he was like, I like that title. We can change it, but I like the title.
Yeah, he's like, I think I really nailed that one. I really nailed that one, you guys. Well, let's get proud indeed. This is your line because you're the host. Sorry, I won't say it, please.
That's right, folks. This has been our show. Oh, don't give me that. You're going to be saying this next episode. As always, if you want to see our lovely faces, all the VOD, that's video on demand, and other ways you can hang out with us are in the show notes. Hey, if you could do us a little favor, if you could do me a personal favor, rate the show anywhere that you find podcasts. And if you could do Sound Deep a little personal favor, maybe leave a comment. Because it really, 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 really helps us out. It brings a lot of attention to the show. And let's just keep having fun. We can bring our friends on, like Johnny Stanton the Fourth, and just talk about bridging the gaps, bringing the world together. It's all good stuff. If you've got any comments, suggestions, or feedback, you can send those to abcdpodcastshow@gmail.com or hit us up on the Discord, which is a great fun place.
Sure is. The EffinFunny Discord. We're always hanging out there. Please drop in. And our second sponsor shout out, that is, of course, DesiQuest, the TTRPG that stars us, me and Omar.
Yep.
And, the other greats, the other great Desi TTRPGers out there, Anjali, Rika, and Jasmine. So please go to DesiQuest.com. You can sign up for that mailing list, or you can directly support the show right now on its own Patreon at patreon.com/DesiQuest.
Yep. And last but absolutely not least, we got to thank you, our Patreons and listeners.
Indeed.
In fact, we are going to list off some names really quickly, but we don't know how. We don't know how we're going to say this.
The way you'll be doing it
Delvin,
today is in the style of a 1940s new deal.
Okay.
Okay? You ready for your lead-in?
Love it. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
This is ABCD's pen.
All right, it's time for the news. These are the top people in the world. Here we go. Joshua Orion, Tall BM Carlo, Benjamin Lowe, Hunter P. Brown.
We've got also Miranda Hollinger. I'm getting this on the wire here. Michael Long, Raylan Fox, Selena B, Adam Nickerson coming in hot.
Hey, Omar, a few more just popped in right here. Nervous Rex, Sarah H, Dodecacatuplet, Jeremy O'Brien, and Varun.
My goodness. Every morning when I have my delicious steak and eggs, I gotta say a thank you to Moldy Vort, Philip Dizon, Kathleen Schlegel, and Ducati.
That's right. Well, also the morning I'm just drinking straight shots of gasoline, and I am going to thank Reverend Catino, Brandon Pace, Monroe Maxwell, Jeremy Schwartz for giving me the idea.
And not last but not least, so we got to send it out to our good boys on the Mid-Atlantic, on the Atlantic seaboard here. Take it away. Of course, this is going out to Han Salslow, 8-Bit D, Andrew FL, Chris Sims, and Dan Wally, and Nebish Heretic.
And where would we be without our effing gods, the people contributing at the top level? I'd say we'd be, out at sea. Dialing SOS via Morse code without Laura Clark, Scribbles and Flapjacks invading.
Well, that's right, folks. You heard it here first. The show is produced by Kaylin Mahoney. The show's technical director and sound designer is Delvin Neville. The show's executive producers are Sandeep Parikh and Anand Shah. This is edited by Sean Maher. The music is by Harshal Sisodia, Jasper Singh, Alex Zaveri. This has been, folks, an EffinFunny production.
Why are we saying his name worse every time?
It's so funny to me.
Spoken as written. It's so good.
I only heard Sean's feelings. Amazing.
Folks, thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week. Wait, because I'm the host. That's right. I forgot. Yeah. I thought it was. I keep defaulting to you. On behalf of Sandeep Parikh, your co-host this week, but your host next week, I've been Omar Najam. May your chakras be aligned and smothered in chutney.